tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You can hear with some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
No, yes, I know it was mute. My apologies. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Welcome, welcome on this Hump Day Wednesday. Yes, it's good to be back with you as we continue to look forward to the weekend. That sounds like every day, right? You work for the weekend? Well, welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I am Sabrina, and it's good to be back with you here this Wednesday evening. And tonight, yes, we're going to be breaking down a headline that sounds big, sounds global, sounds far away, but trust me, it has the serious potential of touching every single one of us. And what I'm talking about is the United Arab Emirates and the UAE. That's what you'll hear it as. And they have officially left OPEC. Now, you're going to be hearing a lot about this, and you'll be like, oh my God. Yes, what that is. Hold on. That is a group of countries that controls a huge portion of the world's oil supply. And I know some of you are thinking, good God, Sabrina, what does this have to do with me? Parliament is in session. We're seeing where people are having so much issues with immigration. There's laws coming into effect on the 1st of May. It's like, what more are you going to lay on us? But look here, might as well let's just do it. So no one is caught off guard. And when you hear certain things, it all makes sense, right? So I'm only trying to explain it in layman's terms so you're not caught off guard. And no one should be left outside. And I'm going to make it make sense as best as I can in layman's terms with you. You are all welcome to participate in this. I am, people are like, look, I don't even look at the signs. I'm just trying to buy gas. I'm just trying to buy groceries. Yes, the prices are killing me. I'm just trying to sort my life out. I'm worried about interest rates. Well, I got a little bit of that for you, some good news there, even if it's short term in the business roundup at the end of the news segment. So yeah, there's a lot that's built in to even how your interest rates are impacted with your mortgages. So let me tell you, that at the end of the day, when a major oil producer steps out of the world's biggest oil club, yeah, it affects fuel prices. It's also going to affect shipping cost, inflation, travel, business as a whole, jobs, and the global economy. And that, my friends, it affects us right here in Cayman. It affects the Caribbean, and by extension, the entire world. And there are certain parts in the regional and international news is going to make it all make sense as well. So tonight, my aim here is to break down in plain language as best as I can. No jargon, no politics, no confusion, hopefully, just facts and giving you clarity and understanding. Because when the world shifts, we need to understand how it shifts around us as well. So I just want you to know that, again, this episode of Sabrina Speaks is proudly supported today by Bridgepoint Immigration Consulting. Yes, help is on the way, Cayman, and a new consultancy will open this May with 25 years of real hands-on immigration experience. Yes, and expertise in-house as well. So Bridgepoint, your advocate in a complex system. More to come. I promise you more to come on that. But please remember, the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and/or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns. Now, Bridge Media Limited and all of our affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Now, join in live on in the conversation by calling 345-936-8255. You can also hit me up on WhatsApp because we love to hear from you. The only thing I'm asking respectfully is that we keep on the topic at hand. I am willing to entertain you, and that is why we have Open Mic Friday, unless it's an emergency, a huge disaster, because we want to hear from you, and we love your feedback, but I only ask is you be respectful, even profanity. I know it's very emotive, and you can get all into your feelings and all that sort of stuff, but we got to respect our viewers, our listeners, and our audience base. So we ask that you exercise diplomacy whenever you're trying to articulate yourself. And please, 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 I beg of you to stick on topic. It's different. Open Mic Fridays. And even if you see me come with a topic on Friday because people are not calling in, I will pause that topic because Fridays is dedicated for any and everything. Okay. So I will pause the topic because Open Mic Friday is exactly Open Mic Friday, but I still have to show up with content. But all I ask is just to deal with it respectfully once you participate here live. And please understand that if you're calling on WhatsApp, and I am on another call that is someone who's calling straight, not on WhatsApp, I cannot answer your call. And if I'm on a WhatsApp call, you have to message me and say, can you add me to that WhatsApp call? I can add you. I just can't add you like how I could do a straight line call. So as long as we get that understanding, I'm not selecting who I answer. It all depends on how you call the show. Okay. So I just ask for your patience. I ask for your understanding. And I ask for you to be cognizant that other persons may actually want to be calling in as well. But the bottom line is we appreciate your contribution, but I need you to be cognizant that we want to stick on topic for our episodes. Again, this space was created because your voice matters. My opinion doesn't. I'm the host of the space. But as we continue to grow, we're going to get those where multiple persons want to call in, and we want to be cognizant of that and be respectful of everyone's opinion, number one, and two, just be cognizant to stay on topic. That's all I ask. So yes, 345-936-8255 is the number to hit me up once the phone lines are open. And you can also WhatsApp me as well, but we appreciate you. We appreciate your conversations. We appreciate your dedication and your continued support. And I'm seeing the new followers and subscribers every day. And that would not be possible without you. As a matter of fact, you see that in the back? Ladies and gentlemen, before I get even into the weather and news segment, this in the back, remember Miss Melita had won a $100 gift certificate? I know you guys may have forgotten about it. Well, when she heard the pain in Miss Shalma's voice, Miss Melita has regifted her $100 gift certificate for the Westing Spa Service to Miss Shalma. That's the power of this space. So Miss Shalma, if you're listening, I will make my arrangements to personally get this to you, or you know how I will get it to you through one of my family members. Okay. So I'm promising you, I will get this to you no later than this weekend. But again, Miss Melita, thank you for your big heart. Thank you for your generation. Thank you for actually being able to be so willing to help another and regift this to Miss Shelma, because she hear the pain. And even though Miss Melita's birthday is coming up, she was open to just making sure she could give Miss Shelma some time for herself to go pamper herself. And she has regifted this $100 gift certificate to the Westin back to Miss Shelma. So Miss Shelma, I will make sure I'll get that to you before the weekend is over. Welcome, welcome, one and all. It's good to be here with you again this afternoon, and let's get straight into the weather forecast. Yes, the synopsis calls for a weak ridge of high pressure remains over the northern Caribbean, and the chance for a few isolated showers remain possible due to limited moisture. Now, showers are in the forecast to be confined to the afternoon and early morning periods. Radar imagery show a few showers around the Cayman area moving westward. The forecast for tonight is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers in the early morning. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s and winds will be east-northeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. The forecast for tomorrow is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers in the afternoon. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index near 97. Winds will be easterly at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights less than 2 feet. There will be a high tide tonight at 9:03, tomorrow a low tide at 3:04 a.m. Another high is expected at 8:16 tomorrow. The sun will set this evening at 6:46 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 5:58. The outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Saturday morning. Thank you for my friends over there at the National Weather Service. That's our weather forecast for this evening and the forecast going out for tomorrow. Yes, it is perfect weather. I see you guys. Remember to share the link and let them know Sabrina Speaks is live as we turn our attention and our focus over to the news segment that's making the Sabrina Speaks platform this evening. Starting with local news. Parliament convened today at 2 p.m. for the fifth meeting of the 2025-2026 session. During this final sitting of the current legislative year, members are expected to be deliberating on a series of legislative changes that will shape national policy in the year ahead. Now, key debates include proposed amendments to the Airports Authorities Act and the Parliament Management Act, as well as measures focused on good governance, health, and public safety. Additional business will continue as the House works through the agenda for this sitting. Motions and other outstanding business are also scheduled as the House prepares for the new season. The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage is inviting the public to take part in the inaugural Heritage Month 2026, a month-long celebration of Caymanian identity under the theme Threads of Our Traditions. Now, the ministry says that the observance brings together cultural expressions across all three islands to tell the story of who we are as Caymanians. The celebrations begins on the 1st of May with a 3-4-5 day, followed by a free gospel concert on the 2nd of May and a national church service on the 3rd of May. Heritage Month is also including the observance of Emancipation Day on May 4th, which will be celebrated along Cardinal Avenue and Seafarers Way, recognizing the end of slavery in 1835. Now, the event will run from 3 to 7 p.m., featuring Cayman Islands folk singers, local performers, school dance groups, and special appearances by Swanky, followed by fireworks to close out the evening. Now, throughout the month of May, the public can also enjoy cultural events, exhibitions, and performances across Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac. The ministry is also encouraging full participation as Cayman celebrates the traditions and values that continue to shape our islands. More in local news, the Cayman Islands is strengthening its commitment to regional collaboration and effective utility regulations through participation in the 20th annual OPEC conference in Jamaica this week. Now, Finance Minister Ralston Anglin and UARCO CEO Sanjay Miles are attending, joining regional and international leaders to discuss climate resilience, digital transformation, renewable energy, and regulatory innovation. Minister Anglin says forums like OPEC are vital for small jurisdictions, helping policymakers protect consumers while supporting sustainable growth. Other news making headlines today. Cayman Islands gas station owners and fuel suppliers say petrol prices have reached their highest levels in years, driven by instability from the ongoing U.S.-Israel war with Iran. Industry leaders note that diesel costs should begin easing in the coming months, but warn that a full return to normal pricing could still be 7 to 8 months away. Other local news, the National Trust of the Cayman Islands says that it is strongly opposed to the proposed amendment to the Development and Planning Act that would give the Central Planning Authority and the Development Control Board exclusive authority in planning matters. Now, the trust says the change would override consultation requirements in other laws, including the National Conservation Act, and weaken essential safeguards for the environment and heritage. It is urging members of Parliament to reject the bill and ensure any future planning reforms undergo full public consultation. We will keep this, keep you abreast of those followings. You know, the House, like we said at the top of the hour, is in session right now. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that and how it moves. Let's turn our attention now into news that is making regional and international news for this evening. Pan-Caribbean Sugar Company Limited says the recent contamination found in some of its packaged sugar products was caused by a magnet failure along the production line during manufacturing. The company says the malfunction allowed foreign particles to pass through undetected. Now, officials report that the affected batches have been isolated and corrective measures are now in place as the investigation continues. The United States Department has confirmed it will release a special limited edition passport this July as part of the nation's 250th anniversary celebrations marking the Declaration of Independence. Officials says that the commemorative design will feature historic imagery tied to the semi-quincentennial. The passport will be available to U.S. citizens applying during the rollout period, with distribution beginning through select passport agencies only. The Panama Canal Authority says the ongoing U.S.-Iran conflict in the Middle East is likely to push more global shipments through the canal. In a statement on Tuesday, the authority noted that instability in traditional shipping routes could redirect traffic towards the Central American waterway, which remains a major corridor for international freight. Officials says they are monitoring global conditions as they prepare for potential increase in transits. Now, you see what I was saying earlier on, that, yeah, it all ties in at the end of the day. And this is why we make sure that we keep you abreast of everything that's happening so that we are not left off guard at all. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to keep you abreast of everything that's going as we continue this evening. We turn our attention over to across the pond. Yes, Britain's News is reporting that a major overhaul of UK's pension system has been confirmed, with the new government moving ahead on plans that would require pension funds to increase investment in the UK economy. Now, according to the report, the policy is being advanced under the leadership of Chancellor Rachel Reeves, who now has the authority to implement measures aimed at directing more long-term capital into domestic growth. Further details on the reforms are expected as the government continues to outline its legislative agenda. And as we wind down the news segment, China is expanding its direct shipping routes to Africa in an effort to boost trade efficiency and reduce logistic costs across key corridors. Now, the move comes ahead of a planning zero tariff policy for 53 African countries that is set to take effect in 2026. Now, major ports such as Yantani and Tianji are already reporting stronger export growth and faster transit times. Now, officials says that developments signal deeper trade integrations between China and Africa, particularly industrial and the technology sectors. That concludes our news. Now let's wrap it up this evening with what's making our news for the business roundup right here on the Sabrina Speaks. U.S. markets closed lower today as investors reacted to renewed uncertainty around the interest rate policy. The Dow slipped to 49,141, while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ also ended the session in the red. Energy prices continue to pressure inflation, reinforcing the Federal Reserve's decision to hold rates at 3.5 to 3.7%, in what was the most divided vote since 1992. Fed officials signaled a higher for longer stance, noting that persistent inflation and global instability leave little room for near-term cuts. There we have it this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It has been that wraps up our news segment here for this evening, and keeping you all in the know here. Good evening, one and all. I see you're coming in slowly but surely as we continue to share and update with all of the happenings that are happening between here around the world, making sure we keep you in the loop of everything. Who's going to be rushing all you Americans that are here to make sure you get that commemorative passport? Who's going to be in the first of the line? We know you. We know y'all. Who is going to be jumping as well to make sure that they can get it? It'll be interesting. Yeah. Happy birthday shout outs to all of those who are celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or just celebrating life from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks platform. And yes, our love goes out to you, and also condolences to all of you who are mourning the loss of a loved one. Yes, our thoughts and prayers are also with you. Connie Bonnie's in the house. Good evening, Auntie Sabrina. Kinder, gentler world and crew. I realized that. You know what that was, right? I forgot to unmute myself because I was saving these beautiful images that you shared with us today, your orchids of the day. So no, I'm not blaming you. It's just trying to be an octopus with multiple arms and doing different things. But thank you so much for sharing this beauty with us, Connie Bonnie. Oh my gosh. It is, these are beautiful. Those are the flower of the day. Yeah, the flowers of the day, the orchids of the day. Connie is just killing us with lots of love here. And it does make a difference. I must say, it really does make a difference. Yes. Alfred Real, good evening to you as well. What you say you want here? Read lips. Good evening, Aliano. How are you, my sweet? I hope you're doing well and continuing to be well on your journey of mending. Donnie is also in the house. Yes. Alfred Real, Auntie Sabrina, if prices rise after global events, who should be held accountable locally when those prices never come back down? And are Caymanians prepared to change their lifestyles if the world economy becomes more expensive and unstable? Definitely, you can weigh in those questions as we think here on this segment. Yeah, good question to ask. But, we'll have to keep abreast of what's happening local. And we could only trust our officials and all of the agencies. How are we going to deal with this? Remember, we're importing everything. And let me get through the show, and then maybe these questions could be answered based on the information that you're sharing here. But we have been signaling this. And it's funny that Andrew actually commented and said Blessed Wednesday immediately after that, because Andrew has been signaling this for for weeks. Andrew has been saying, what are we doing to be prepared for the realities? Hey, Harry, how you doing? It's good to have you join us here from the UK as well. Richard, perfect. Yes, 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 perfect weather. I would say I was out and about today. Yeah, and it wasn't so bad. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't like you were suffocating. So I must say the weather was really, really nice. And I had a little moment this morning where I was able to sit down and just exhale a little bit with my cup of coffee. So yeah, I did have a decent. It's amazing how you time manage. Like I'll bill my shows like the day before and try to just prep for the next day. Sometimes I try to do 2 days in advance just to carve out those moments where I can just enjoy just me time. Yeah. So I must say, Richard, I gotta agree with you here today. Leanne, hi, how are you? Welcome, 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 my sweet. Yeah, North Carolina love is in the house. Marshall is here with us this afternoon. It's always a pleasure to see you on the stream with us. Damian Henry, good evening, all. There is a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, of deep contrition, and of unspeakable love. That's condition. I think that's a little typo, but I think I get what you say. Tears are powerful. They are, Damien. And again, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for just keeping us abreast of, look at all these beautiful ones that are coming in. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. You are so loyal, like Connie and all of our other contributors here. All of you are becoming content creators now. You're helping me. God dug it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm loving the feeling. I'm loving the love. I got some more to come in. Leonard Franklin, tapestry of our DNA. Yeah. Yes. Sure, perfect words. Miss Lucille, yes, yes, yes. You're from the UK, still up, staying up late with us, along with a number of people. Sabrina, please give my deepest condolences to the Powery family and the friends of the passing of Neil. I am in pieces. He is like my son, and with respect he has for me, rest in peace, my son. Okay, I'm of course I will do my best to make sure that this message gets to them. At least try my best to connect the dots. But yes, we shared those sentiments with you. Jimbo is also in the house, and as the message continue to come in, and also comments and questions, let's take a break for a message from ESO. We'll be right back. So do not go anywhere. Please just share the link. Tell them we're on, because we're going to be bringing up an important topic this evening. Yes, we're going to make it all make sense.
The Economics and Statistics Office, ESO, is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 12. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2025? In 2025, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Welcome back to Sabrina Speaks, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands. It's good to have you all with us this evening. Please remember, yes, Dress Down Day is this Friday. And you know they were having the shirts that are being set for sale. Wear Your Cayman Proud t-shirt. You can get those from the Intergenerational Hub. Now I got I must say I got a couple calls today, and messages as well. A few of them, amazing, where they were saying, where do I find this place? The best landmark I can give you is next to DHL behind Price Right. It used to be the old Woods Furniture Building. It's right there. That's where these t-shirts are being sold. So we're encouraging you to come out this Friday the 1st in your gear. Yes. Go and buy your shirt if you want. And you know what? You would wear, we're doing a whole month celebration. So why not just go and get it? And maybe you can dress up with it, tag us in your picture, send us your picture, how you're going to dress down, but dress to actually kick off the entire month-long celebration. Or you can wear our Caymanian dress, or you can wear red or blue or white, a combination, whatever it is you choose. Yeah, we want to see those pictures as well. And you can tag using the hashtag Caymanian Proud and get the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture in on it as well. Yeah, and please don't forget the Saturday night. So Friday is dress down day. Come out in your colors. And then Saturday, all roads lead to the agricultural grounds. That would be the 2nd of May, where we're having this free gospel concert. And they're going to be Cayman Islands folk singers and other groups there that are going to be participating in this event. So this is free. Make it an evening where you just go out, grab some friends and just exhale and enjoy this comfort, this concert here that is put on by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage. And also the church service, as we alluded to in the news segment, is going to be at the John Gray Memorial Church, kicking off at 11 a.m. That's on Sunday, and Sunday, May the 3rd from 11. So join for this special church service in observance of our Heritage Month that is historic, because we're going to dedicate the entire month of May to Heritage Month. And then we know that Saturday the 2nd of May also is the Children's Badabanu. Were you guys aware of that? That kicks off, my friend, at 3 p.m. and it's on Cardinal Avenue. Now, this family-friendly event will bring the streets of Georgetown to life. It's expected that our kids from the various schools will be in vibrant colors, and there'll also be music and dance and culture as well. So this is the kids' Badabanu. And we know these kids do a lot of choreography there and all of that good stuff. So you want to go out and celebrate our kids this Saturday. So lots are going on, lots happening. Yeah, so the kids are in today. And then even though they're tired, you say, thank you, Jesus, we survived. And you go and you celebrate in song for this free gospel concert. Yeah, and you know what? Maybe they may be so tired, you may get to enjoy it because they'll probably fall asleep. And then, of course, it continues. Then you go to church on Sunday as we kick off into the new week and embrace all of the festivities that are going on. Can't say we're short of stuff here to do in the Cayman Islands. Oh, no. Donnie is sharing some beautiful images with us this evening as well. Her orchids. Yeah, look at these, Connie Bonnie. That's Donnie. That's one. And look at this other one. Oh, my goodness, Dawn. Thank you for sharing this. So I got my plant lover section, and we got all of the other stuff that is going on. So thank you, ladies, for sharing this. And anybody else who has other flowers or showing off their green thumb, you want to share them with us, of course, we are more than happy to share the love here and share it with you as well. Jim is sending howdy to Connie. Yes. Yep. Thank you, my sweet. Debbie Bodden is here with us this evening. And Harry is, okay, your UEF. Okay, that's in regard to the sub. Okay, I'm going to have to flag these so that people will know what we're talking about. So I'll come back to these comments from Harry in a bit so that it all makes sense, because we don't want to lose people. And Aliano says, getting there, just stress without the NAU or DAF running my girlfriend through crap about her Caymanian papers. Really? Getting there, just stressed out with NAU and DAF running my girlfriend through the crap about her Caymanian papers. Oh, really? Okay, we'll have to peg that one so that we can probably see a little bit more. 9368255. Tell me some privately, and let's see how we can navigate that together. Maybe it's due diligence. I don't know. Yeah. But this exhale, there's always a reason. And what we're seeing right now is the innocent is suffering for the guilty. So, interesting times. Yes, you are more than welcome, my love. Damien. Oh, a deep, sincere. Okay. Sorry. It's me, my love. Not you at all. Thank you for the clarification. Sarah Curtis is in the house. Good evening, Miss Sabrina. Do they know which roads will be closed for the kids' Badabanu? I can ask that question, Miss Sarah, for sure. But Cardinal Avenue is in the middle of town, so I don't know if they're going to be doing a mini loop, but I'll make sure I will do that. And if I get it before the show ends, I will share it. Otherwise, you can look at the Sabrina Turner community thing, and we can, let me message them now. Yeah. Knowing me, if I speak into you guys while I type in that, I'll be typing everything that I'm saying. So yeah, let me see if they can get me the roads, what closures, and I will definitely share them with you. If I get them before the show, fine. Outside of that, I'll definitely post it, and I'm quite sure on the CMR page as well, she will also be doing it. So either pages we will, but I'll do my best to make sure we get this. Oh, good for you, Connie. Yes, you were the first one that messaged me, and you must be got this thing over you. Then I got about 3 or 4 other messages keeping at the same, asking the same question. Where is this intergenerational hub? So I had to give Cayman direction. You know where? All, and I had to go back in time. What was there that was really stand out? And when I said behind Price Right, Old Woods Furniture Building, bang, immediately they got it. Oh, that. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. They're beautiful. Yes, those pictures. And I'm hoping you're going to be sending us your picture, Connie, Bonnie. Show us how you look in your shirt. Yes, well, welcome. Let's get straight into it. Now, I know I got digressed just for a little bit, but I'm going to go back on topic. Parliament is in session, and I'm seeing a lot on social media in regards to the dismay of an amendment that is being a bill that is being tabled by MP from Bordentown West. That's MP Chris Saunders, and it is an amendment, development and planning amendment bill of 2026. And we know that there has been some disheartening. People have some concerns and about that, what it means, to the point where it's really bothering people. Where are we going? Why are we removing some of the guardrails? They're not listening to us. Why are we so loose with just protecting our environment and all that sort of stuff, right? This is a bill, and I'll only say this much on it. This is a bill for the government who has the numbers to consider. Under the standing orders of Parliament, any member of the opposition, they do not have to be a member of the sitting government. Under the standing orders, private members' motion can table a bill, a piece of legislation, recommendations to actually make suggestions for the government of the day who has the numbers to consider. They will debate it. The motion is moved and tabled before Parliament for open debate, justifying why. And then the floor is open for discussions, for debate in the confines of that bill to be debated by both sides. At the end, the person who is tabling the motion then has a right of reply to close the debating phase. And then the entire Parliament votes as to whether or not, with or without suggested amendments, whether or not they're going to support it. Support in this case means a recommendation. Yes. So it is a bill, not a motion. Okay. So once the bill is tabled, it is open for debate. Remember, public consultation needed to be more. You still have an opportunity to call out. And I can see why some of you, Sustainable Cayman, I reached out. They have some big posts on their page. The National Trust is reaching out. We have individuals that are being vocal on social media as well. Remember, I said, when these things actually happen, it isn't the end of the road, even though some of you feel that your voice does not matter. And at the end of the day, if I said it was a motion, my apologies, it is a bill. So we just have to hear it out, but to say don't vote for it until you hear what it is, that is meaning not voting, telling your MPs don't support it for whatever reason. I promise you, line by line, not putting my spin on it, not giving my opinion on it. I will do my best, hoping I have time to deliver it tomorrow. Now, if it's before them for debating today, hello, time may not permit me to do that. But what I'm saying is, for the overwhelming dismay about this bill that has come about in the past couple of days, yeah. So if you're that hurt or feel that the guardrails are being removed and that there's too much powers going in the hands of your politicians, then that's even bigger word for concern. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. You know, the phone lines are open. 936-8255 is the number to call. The phone lines are open, but so we will just keep you abreast of all of the happenings. You know, Parliament is in session. We will just have to play it by ear right now, but the power of social media, we will keep you abreast of what's happening. If it's on the order paper, you know, who to tell? There is always that possibility that a bill can be withdrawn. We don't know. So pray to your gods that that is the case. Okay? You're listening to Sabrina Speaks, sponsored by Bridgepoint Immigration Consulting, opening this May, 25 years of real Caymanian immigration expertise. And Bridgepoint is your guide through the process. Before going into the substantive topics this evening, and I promise you, we will go straight into it. I'll be right back after this short message.
The Economics and Statistics Office, ESO, is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 12. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2025? In 2025, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Welcome back to Sabrina Speaks. And yes, I digress for a second because guess what? I got a little birdie in my ear that tells me that bill will be withdrawn this afternoon. Yeah. And just for clarity, because we're all learning here together, motions, bills are two different things. Motions are some that is a bill. In this case, if it is approved in Parliament, it becomes law. So what I said at the beginning about it being a bill and for the government to consider, it's not a motion, it's a bill. And if this bill goes through, let's say it's not withdrawn, if it goes through, it will then become law. But a little birdie told me that it will be withdrawn. Again, this is breaking news exclusively here on the Sabrina Speaks. So for all of you, keep praying, keep putting your pressure on, whatever it is you got to do, keep doing it. But yes, we will keep you abreast of everything. But thank you, little tweet. Tonight, we're going to be talking about this whole, what the UAE is. And again, the phone lines will be open. You can WhatsApp. You can send your comments here as well. I see some of them have already come in, but I'm doing my best to explain because not too often we actually get into this level of conversation here in Cayman Islands. And you've only really heard about petrodollar and crude and how it's impacting everything at this level because of what we're feeling in the geopolitical space and how it's impacting us here in the Cayman Islands. And we're not immune from the impacts. We know for a fact that we import pretty much everything. And all of these things will impact us. A part of the news segment, you see where there's new business coming to different regions of the world. We're seeing China and Africa tariff-free now to 53 African nations. Yeah, that's over there. But look, they're putting their chips on the table and trying to be sustainable in their own space. And then we here on the Western side, you're seeing where the Panama Canal is getting their act together and more stuff is going through, more ships are passing through. Look, we are resilient people. And even though we're separated by miles and miles and bodies of water as two different continents, at the end of the day, we have to survive. And even though these things are reality, they're going to impact us, which is why I felt when the news broke yesterday about the UAE pretty much pulling away, I felt it was necessary for me to do my best in breaking this down in layman's terms and put it into context with how these impacts can impact us. You see where the feds are holding the interest rate, so they haven't dropped anymore, they haven't increased, and all of these would impact your interest rates unless you got a fixed mortgage rate, interest rate. So that is good news for now. But you know, it still leaves you on the fence because you don't know whether it's going up or down because of all of these things that impacts something as simple as your mortgage. So everything is tied in, from the clothes you wear, the car you drive, to the simple little needle. Yeah, everything is impacted by what's happening right now. So let's get straight into it and let's just break it all down. We're going to start with the UAE. You're going to hear me using a lot of acronyms this evening, and that is because it's easier to just get through it, but I'm going to do my best to break it down for you. So when you read these things, you may hear them on news shows, it will all make sense to you, and it doesn't sound foreign because it's not terms that we normally use every day unless you're in a specific industry or you manage portfolios that are directly related to this industry. So we're going to break it down as best as I can. Now, the UAE stands for the United Arab Emirates. And what this is this, it may be small, but a very wealthy country that's in the Middle East. And it's made up of 7 emirates. Now, that one blown away from me because when I did my research, I only knew of, Dubai. Really, you didn't look at how it is actually structured. But in case you didn't know, it's made up of 7 emirates. And we already know 2 of them because, that's predominantly what we hear of. That's Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Yes. Dubai, is like, everybody's dream. I want to live like those. That, my friends, is the flashy one. Tall buildings, tourism through the wazoo, and business booms. And thanks you, Eliano. He says Emirates are like districts. Yes. And Abu Dhabi is the quiet giant is what we're describing it as, because that's where the oil money is, in Abu Dhabi. Now, OPEC, yes, that's the organization of the petroleum exporting countries, OPEC. Think of OPEC like a big group of shop owners who all sell the same product. And this product, my friends, is oil. What they do is that they meet and decide how much oil they'll put on the shelves so that the price doesn't drop too low or raise too high. Now, countries in OPEC includes countries such as Saudi Arabia, you got Iraq, Kuwait, Iran, Venezuela, Nigeria, Angola, Algeria, and until recently, the UAE. Ryan, it's been a minute. How are you, my love? This is why I had to get you out. I had to use crude oil to bring you out. OMG, the cartel, he got him labeled. Good to see you, my friend. I hope all is doing well. But when you see the UAE walks out of that group, it's like one of the biggest shop owners saying, I'm done following these rules. I'm going to go and do my own thing. And that, my friends, was their stance yesterday. And you may ask then, why the heck did they leave? Some are saying, finally, they left the cartel, as Ryan so rightly said here. And Harry's saying, but remember, each Emirates is a monarchy with near absolute power over international affairs. Interesting. Yep. Sandy's in the house. You're not supposed to be on vacation. You're not supposed to be on vacation. Things are just fine and fabulous here. Hope you're enjoying your vacation and thank you for stepping in. Hope you're having a good time talking about this UAE. You fretting or good to have you here, nevertheless. So, yes, this is what we're saying. The reason that they decided is number one, they want to pump more oil. And they said it. You can go and Google this for yourself. And OPEC kept telling them, no, stick to your quota. The UAE said, we invested billions to pump more. Why are you holding us back? This ain't making no sense. Number two reason is that the world is moving toward electric cars and renewable energy, whether or not you agree with that or not. Some places are catching on a little quicker and they're actually going into that area more than others, okay? And what we're seeing is that the UAE knows oil won't be king forever. So they want to sell as much as they can now while the world still needs it. Remember, you throw a rock and there's ripple effects. So it doesn't hit everybody at the same time. So keep in this space. Reason number three, though, what I found up in my research is security. There have been attacks on ships. You've seen it. You've heard it here. Tensions with Iran and the whole instability within the region. And the UAE, for their reasoning for exiting stage left, felt like OPEC wasn't supporting them enough. The fourth reason OPEC that I found as well is that OPEC isn't as powerful as it used to be. And the United States now produces more oil than any country in history. So the UAE is thinking, why stay in a group that's losing influence? Bearing in mind, the content I share here is based on research, but it's of my own standing. It's not my opinion. It's based on reliable sources that I get. Okay? The disclaimer was read at the beginning. Reason number 5, based on what I found, not being a professional in this industry by any means, but from reliable sources, is that there's also reasoning for this decision based on international disagreements. And the UAE, Saudi Arabia, two big players that we're seeing here, haven't been seeing eye to eye to oil in the overall oil policy at all. So they said, the UAE said, we're out. And it's final. Right now, as of now, they're out come the 1st of May. So you may say, well, oh my God, what does this mean? What does this mean for oil prices? You're seeing the uncertainty. You're seeing even interest rates right now where the feds have said since 1992, they have never seen a vote so tight. And that is talking about interest rates. That's your mortgage. But it's all tied into what we're seeing from the geopolitical space. So here's where it hits home. When the UAE pumps more oil, prices could actually drop. Good evening, caller. You're live. Oops. Hold on. Good evening, caller. Speak again.
Hi.
Yes.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now you weren't plugged into my little thing.
Oh, okay. I have a question for you. Like, long term, right? I mean, will the UAE pulling out of OPEC really have that much of an effect on us?
It's like everything else. We'll have to wait. I'm just giving you the reasons based on my research, and I've just begun.
No, but the reason I ask, because where the UAE is located, right?
Mm-hmm. You mean on us
It's
here in
either,
Cayman or in general?
I mean, just in general. But I mean, like where the UAE is located, right? It either has to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, which that situation right there, or I believe there's a pipeline. They have a pipeline that goes through to Oman, but I think that's already being that's already under heavy use. So I mean, I don't know how much more oil that they can produce. They can pump out of Oman. And the only other thing is going out through Saudi Arabia, who is the dominant giant in OPEC.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think leaving OPEC gives the UAE permission to produce more, but not the same as capacity. You still
I
have
don't
to
think
move
they
the
would.
oil.
I don't think, based on what's in the public's domain, they will play their hand until after. They never play their hands. And that's one thing I admire them to a degree. They don't expose their hands immediately because there are other players in the game, such as China, as you see in the news that I shared. And they're also looking at a new way as well to try and just avoid Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz, where they're considering actually creating another similar to what we have on this side of the world as Panama Canal. They're actually working, trying to create another route that would pretty much run parallel, but distance matters. So they're not playing their hand.
Okay.
They're not playing their hand. There are other areas that are actually making strategic moves. They're making moves, but they haven't really made the play yet. They're aligning. And I feel at the end of the day, based on what I have been researching, just to prepare this topic so that it all makes sense from a more global perspective, not necessarily trickle down effects or immediate impacts on us, but this is going to impact, even if we're getting it third party source, some way, somehow, the prices are going to be felt here in the Caribbean region. I bet my last dollar on it.
But I mean, the energy importing places like Cayman might benefit because I mean, now if you have something outside of OPEC, now you have basically a competitor, right? And usually where there's a competitor, markets, you know, like the consumers are who benefit when there's competition. But I mean, sorry, hold on, kind of battling a bit of congestion. Local costs depend on shipping, storage, and you know, contracts and duties, and you know, supplier pricing and business margins, and you know, how quickly savings are passed on to consumers. So I mean, even if the oil prices fall, I don't see Cayman feeling it right away because.
But that's what I said earlier on. It's a ripple effect.
Come down like feathers.
Yeah, it's a ripple effect. It doesn't hit us direct. It can hit us indirectly. And it's only a matter of time that we may see it in other things. We don't have to see it directly. So
I'm listening.
I see where Harry commented the UAE and Saudi are building a new pipeline across the peninsula to pump extra oil out of the country, not using the Strait of Hormuz. I know I'm not going crazy.
No, right, but my point is that you have the UAE who has just now left OPEC, right? Saudi Arabia is still in OPEC.
But we don't know how much more we plan to exit.
Well, what I'm saying is that if it is as it stands now, how can UAE, who has left OPEC, pump oil through an OPEC country? Well, who's the king of the OPEC? You know, the most dominant one in OPEC, and like not, you know, it's like, oh well, you want to leave us, you want to pump it through us, you know, we'll add. You have to pay us to pump it through us now.
Right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't have that crystal ball. I'm just delivering it in its raw form, which is what I do here. To answer direct questions like that, I'd be honest, it's thought provoking. But we got to start somewhere, and I'm just scratching the surface. This is a developing story. It pretty much changes every time you go to bed and wake up because they're a day ahead of us. So a lot of that I cannot answer, which is why I am preparing us for these conversations so that we have a baseline.
Well,
For those who are
all right.
following it, you are able to ask those questions, but the average person is just not even beginning to wrap their head around it. And that's all I'm trying to do is bring it in layman's terms as to what we're facing to come with this decision, because it has made news. It has been in circulation and people are asking the question, well, what does this mean? So I'm answering what it means.
All right. Well, planet lifestyle is going to change here in Cayman.
Well, we're saying that, but then at the end of the day, we're asking then the same questions. Do we still have to deal with what we're seeing with crude and all this sort of stuff, looking at looking at how our utilities right now is run? Will LNG be something that we're talking about in the near future? We'll be looking at another form of thing for running our energy. When you look at all of those crude oils and other forms of commodities, is this a signaling times that we have to look at other types of fossil fuels? We don't know. I'm just throwing that question out there.
All right. I'm listening.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure. Harry says, so his comment was, so they will be able to ship out extra 1 billion barrels without being subject to the current supply chain bottlenecks, because it would violate Saudi's quota, as it isn't them pumping the oil. It is a non-member nearly using a pipeline that happens to run through their country to pump their oil. Yes, and Andrew's commenting saying the Chinese are dominating the EV and car market, killing American car sales. European, Japanese, in addition, solar energy is dominating by the Chinese as well. All of this is about dominance, and BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, forming their own currency, cutting out the US dollar for trade. Now, Trump stated this in the 2019 with his trade war. Coincidentally, that was when COVID started, December of 2020. Lockdown was implemented and the Chinese were implicated as the guilty party, US car maker. Then it stopped there. So there we go. There's a lot of things. And some people will hear this and probably say, oh, it's conspiracy theories, but you can't just look at one source, which is why I go to multiple sources when I actually prepare these episodes. And it's amazing. As I'm preparing to deliver, keeping focused on what I'm delivering, different countries and different areas are doing things. And you're like wondering, but is it tied to that? And then you're coming in like an investigator, and then you're looking at where we are here, and you're seeing what legislations we're putting into place. We're seeing how we're speaking, and their bits and pieces appear to be missing from how we are articulating. And that's because we are governed we are an overseas jurisdiction. So the bigger talks that are being had because we were a child of the United Kingdom is why it appears sometimes as though there are gaps in what we're saying. It's because we're not independently speaking for ourselves. We're seeing where other CARICOM jurisdictions are aligning accordingly. Some may agree to disagree that, they're going to be in more problems than us because we're somewhat sheltered, protected as a BOTC. But you're seeing what they're doing amongst themselves, quite similar to what is being reflected in the other part of the world as well. So to tell you that sovereignty and those CARICOM countries, independent countries, are not doing what they have to do to self-sustain, to make sure that they can sustain themselves if the trajectory appears that they have to try and go around the great US to make other alliances with other countries as far as Africa. You got another guest coming. They are actually doing it. You saw where Venezuela the other day before yesterday, I think, was in the Barbados. And you see her, she is the interim or acting premier or prime minister for Venezuela. And she's making her rounds through the various countries, Caribbean states, small island development states. Again, it all makes sense. They are talking. We don't have to do that because we're not independent. We're not. Who's doing our talking right now? Had dinner with the President of the United States last night. Yeah. And making nice jabs at him, I must say. He does have a sense of humor. On the man's own soil, he is making some serious jabs. That's who's talking for us. King Charles. So we're not at those tables. And we just have to unify ourselves, brace for impact, be alert, be educated, be informed, know as much as we can, so that when someone comes to you speaking stuff, you can say, I need to challenge that because that ain't making much sense. What are you talking about? And that's why we bring it the way we bring it here. Being a British overseas territory is a protection from the outside powers, but also limits how much Cayman can speak for itself and take action with CARICOM. Exactly what thank you for actually endorsing that. Yeah. So a lot of the times you will hear the likes of Denny, even Alfred, some of the topics that I bring up here, you'd be like, how it does, please connect the dots to see where it's relevant. It is very relevant. Trust me, it is. But we're not doing the talking, as Harry has confirmed, because we have been spoken for by who is right now in the United States of America. But that doesn't mean that we will not feel the impacts like everybody else within our jurisdiction, just because of our sheer vulnerability. So when oil prices swing, there is a possibility everything else swings with it. From gas to groceries, airline tickets. We're seeing where countries right now in different airlines are warning people for summer travel. Double check your airlines to see if they're going to be in operation, especially those long haul flights. Or when you go to those long haul destinations, you may be wanting to do different country hopping. Double check to see if those flights are still going. From shipping costs, construction, building material, we're seeing where there was fertilizer having a problem for our crops, for our farmers. Certain summer fruits will be probably impacted by all of the Straits of Hormuz being blocked. Yeah. So this is going to have worldwide impacts on us. And at the end of the day, electricity in some countries are going to be impacted by it as well. Stability. We are blessed, but we're still not out of the woods. Oil, my friends, is like the heartbeat of the global economy, whether it's a direct impact or an indirect impact, whether we're feeling it today or we're feeling it 7-8 months down the line. Hello, did you see what they're saying? Stability, maybe. They're key words that are being used because no one can put their finger directly on it right now. Because when it does jump, if it jumps, everything jumps along with it. And I have to bring it home. Cayman imports everything, literally. Food, fuel, building materials, machines, all of it comes either by ship or by plane. And ships and planes run on what? Fuel. Yep. So when oil prices move, our cost of living moves along with it as well. A box of chicken goes up. A flight to Miami goes up. A construction project slows down. A business struggles to keep prices stable because somewhere, somehow, we've seen where Jamaica is saying we can no longer sustain the losses we are losing. And therefore, they're going to start seeing things escalate. Yeah. So this is why a decision made thousands of miles away still have the huge potential of landing right here in our pockets, directly or indirectly. So Aliano is saying, let's be serious. How can Caymanian play in this market when we don't play? Leverage is just frustrating because what is the government doing? Like I said, we don't speak for ourselves, Aliano. We pretty much have to trust those who are in the industry to just come out and be frank and honest with us. And you keep asking the right questions to your leaders, how they're doing and what things they're putting in mitigations that they are doing in order to help us brace for the realities and for these uncertainties. I think what I'm getting from your question is that you would like to know what things are in place that could, prepare the people of the Cayman Islands for the good or the bad, or like what Alfred said, we got to be prepared for the eventualities, for our realities, so that at least we're prepared. And we need to know what that preparation looks like from a national stance. Andrew says Venezuela president signed agreement with Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley to be the hub for Venezuela's products to the Caribbean islands. I wonder how Trump has not intervened on this, as he is the big ruler with his iron fist. Up against who? Mia Amor Motley? The nose of frightened. And I'm a horrible singer. Yeah, that's interesting. You think the lady, hey, trust me, agreed. But let's see. Let us see. Harry says, I think Danny fails to understand that the Cayman Islands can't bubble itself. It is a tiny power that admittedly punches well above its weight, but there are several caps on power. Okay. Andrew says, my question is, how will Cayman Islands survive? We don't have anything to trade or export. You could see the lines at DFA getting longer if businesses start to close. If the environment becomes to the point where it's just not making ends meet, you're quite rightfully saying it. I just feel that we need to hear something. Maybe you will hear that. Powers that be are in Parliament right now. What are they going to be saying? I don't know. I can't speak for them. This is what you're asking. It's really, really interesting from a national perspective. And this is not no loom and gloom. Please don't label it as we're creating no loom and gloom here. We're just having real conversations that, trust me, the conversations are being had, but they're being had in certain circles. People are actually watching all of the markets. Bloomberg, oh yeah. If you don't even understand it, listen. They got reporters there breaking it down for you. Bloomberg. If you got Firefox, find Bloomberg. It talks about all of these things. Yes. And it prepares you for the realities. The geopolitics, if the UK struggles to have a global impact or bubble itself, God knows how Cayman could do so on their own, on our own. Harry, you hitting it hard this evening, but with sobering truth. And what I can tell you, if that is the case, then we still have to abide by the rules because we're not independent. Another question that came up in my thing is that who supports the UAE then? Because the UAE is not a standalone. They have strong ties, and guess with who? Subject to change without notice, because we know how that leader goes. But right now, they have strong ties with the United States military, business, and technology. You hear what I said? The UAE has strong ties with the United States military, business, and technology. And they also have long-standing ties with Saudi Arabia. And even though they disagree sometimes, they still have strong ties. They have deep economic connections with Europe as well. And they have massive investments funds, some of the biggest in the world. Yeah. So when the UAE leaves OPEC, they're not walking out weak. They're walking out strong based on their current standing right now. And there is going to be power struggle, And that is exactly with the same Saudi Arabia. You're going to have the UAE versus the Saudi Arabia. That's the elephant in the room. because they're all bracing for impact for how they're going to survive in this market, actually trying to circumvent maybe one individual or a few others. But look, there is still the elephant in the room. Saudi Arabia leads OPEC, just like what Alfred was saying. They are really, at the end of the day, labeled as the big bosses in the oil world, which is why I said, Alfred, let me produce. Let me do it, because it has to make sense. See, it's coming right around to what you were saying, but you were ahead of the class. So you got to make it connect. So the UAE has grown more confident right now, more independent as well. And with that, ambitious. So what they want to be right now is a global player and not just a follower. You know the saying, when the student becomes the teacher, or me and you on the same level, when the student is no longer a student, but we're both teachers? Yeah. So this move, my friends, leaving OPEC, is also a message. We're not living in Saudi Arabia's shadow anymore, is what they're saying. We got wings. We got feet, and we will use them accordingly. Yeah. Now, when you look at OPEC itself, for those of you who are like, well, what the heck is all of this? That OPEC that the UAE is leaving was created going back before my time. That was created back in 1960. Back when Western oil companies controlled everything. They were the big players in town. And then OPEC was formed so that oil producing countries could take back power. And what we saw for decades, OPEC controlled prices by controlling what? The supply. But over time, what we've observed, new producers came into the playpen. We saw the US, we saw Canada, Brazil, and guess what? OPEC's power then weakened. The UAE's leaving is one of the biggest cracks right now in OPEC's foundation. It's a big crack right now at this time, understanding the environment, understanding the demand, understanding the uncertainty from world leaders, understanding geopolitics, threats, bullying. Yes. So who's winning here right now? If I could break down the winners and the losers for where we are at this present time, based on research, the winners are the UAE. Because with this decision, they're getting more freedom, and that's equaling, cha-ching, more money. Another winner is the United States. Oh, yeah. More influence. And countries that want cheaper oil. Some of those who may be on the back end, the losers of OPEC, of course, tops the list. Because they now have weaker unity. That unity is not as strong as it used to be. And the losers as well are countries that are dependent on high oil prices. Now you would say, well, which countries are dependent on that? Oh, it's real. It's real. There are countries that depend on high oil prices. And the losers are also global stability, because now that things get unpredictable and we're seeing where it's impacting the feds, we're seeing where it is beginning to impact investors' confidence in how they trade stocks, which, of course, you know what that plays in the grander scheme of things. Dean says, do we know yet what currency the UAE will be taking for the oil, for their oil? The petrodollar is coming to an end, which is good for the market. We don't know yet. Let's see. I'm quite sure this will continue. It's a drip effect. It's a drip effect, Dean. So we got to keep on it. But I can tell you, the information is out there if it is not already out there somewhere. Andrew is saying, can we envision what would happen if the Cayman Islands shut down without fuel for 5 days? Look at our neighbor Cuba. I don't even want to imagine it, to tell you the truth. I don't even want to imagine it. I don't. Because I've seen a video although it was in Spanish, of a gentleman who was crying out of Cuba that all of a sudden we're not hearing much. All this crisis in Cuba is no longer dominating the news waves. But sometimes you will scroll across one or two, I guess, videos that leak. And this grown man was crying, saying, living in Cuba right now is living in hell. He doesn't know what it is to go home and to cook a hot meal. There are still crises there. There are still difficulties and challenges, even with the grid and all that sort of stuff. So it's not much. It's not dominating the news spaces anymore. But for what is making its way out, it is still a living hell from what is actually being happening on the ground. But whatever they're doing, they're keeping it tight-lipped. Harry is saying, and remember, the UAE is currently getting control over the oil in Sudan via its proxies, and the UAE has become a near equal of Saudi, who has dominated Arabia for decades. That's true. So Aliano is saying, why don't the government remove Why don't government remove the coke goal CUC has on solar power regulation, or the choke? Well, all of that, I'm quite sure, Aliano, that these conversations are being happening as they look at what's happening in the market, and which is why, again, they were asking for backup power generation, which we saw that in the public's domain. Nothing that I'm saying here is not in the public's domain, and trying to do things so that operationally they can actually run more efficient, therefore trying to keep prices down, but most importantly, to maintain the stability of our power grid. You think we get this type of service in comparison to other regions if there weren't serious money injected into CUC to maintain our power grid? But at the end of the day, they're still operating a big chunk off of fossil fuels. They said it themselves. And they're looking at other ways as well of running certain things, be it solar or other forms of fuels, in order to make them run. So I'm quite sure in time, as we see the climate, the energy change here, we will possibly hear more from CUC. And I think they're launching something. I don't know what it is they're launching. Did I miss something? Did I have a date? Oops. Okay, I got to double check my calendar. But I think I'm invited to something. So hey, I hope I didn't miss it. But yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat to see what is the big announcement that they'll be doing. So I'll keep you abreast of that. Harry is saying, if the Cayman Islands ever got anywhere near what Cuba is going through, going back to my old point, the mother country, UK, would almost certainly intervene to help. Yeah, of course, Harry, I'm quite sure that would be the case. But at the end of the day, 2 days straight without electricity here would be a nightmare for us, because again, we have gotten so accustomed to a grid that is stable. Even if it's in an isolated area, it's like we go crazy because it's really hot here, Harry. And we have grown accustomed to our luxuries of life, air conditioning. So any form of discomfort is like the end of the world. We know we've experienced Hurricane Ivan, and we have had motor vehicle accidents or transformers blowing because of hurricanes or tropical storms. And sometimes our power supply has been interrupted for sometimes 2-3 hours, and it's like the end of the world. You don't appreciate the infrastructure and all of the work that CUC do until we have gone through either a tropical cyclone or a hurricane or something like that, or how quickly the crews at CUC respond to get back service. We don't appreciate that. That's not for free. Yes, can they do a little bit better? Of course, everyone will argue that. But when they're justify it, that they're importing all of these fossil fuels, and they don't control the price of crude, diesel, which their facilities run off, And, it's hard for them to say that, oh, we're going to keep it locked at this. So yeah, this is an unsolicited commentary, just trying to address your concerns. And it has not been, and I'm not speaking on behalf or for CUC by any means. It's just plain old good common sense. Okay. If you ran a business and you have an idea what it's like, I'm quite sure it would be the same response, just maybe a little bit more stats that CUC would provide. But bottom line, in layman's terms, it's exactly what I'm saying. So we got to give thanks. Whether or not they could do more, of course, people would say that. Of course, who wouldn't want to see it? But we all have to do our part as well to try and lessen our demand or consumption as we weather through these months. The chokehold, geez, this app running, yeah. No, it's not only you, Aliano. Everybody goes through that. And the sad thing is you see the foolishness after you hit send. Sometimes I feel like I can't read. So don't beat yourself up, my love. What we have to look at is, as we've gone through the losers, we're seeing where the losers are just global stability. We all lose because the entire world is impacted mentally. We see where the markets are going crazy because we are shrouded in unpredictability. And in addition to that, unpredictable decisions made by some of our leaders is also another stress. So, yeah, it is real what's before us. So let's put it into perspective just a little bit so that we can keep following. And thank you for all of your comments and that you're making here. But I know some of you are probably processing how it will hit you individually, collectively in your businesses. You're probably trying to say, well, does it even make sense for me to start my business now? It all depends. Don't let what's happening around you kill your dreams. Sometimes you may have to scale back. If you're already in a business and you're planning on expanding, you may want to reevaluate the situation for a little bit, maybe a slight pause. Or if you're filling a niche, a gap that has no one offering that service, and you know that there's a demand, maybe you can look at it a different way. But my idea is to make sure you do your research right now and try to hold on as much as you can. Cut back, adjust your sales accordingly, but also be very, very vigilant with what's happening around the world because we are not isolated. And it is for that reason that I have to give real world examples of what could become a reality here. Because if oil spikes, we're already seeing the prices in our grocery stores. I was in an office supply store today. And yeah, I had to say, suck it up, buttercup. This is the impacts of what's happening around the world. And because they're importing their stuff. People are not giving quotes for certain things now that last 30 days anymore. So if a man is saying, I'm quoting you, let's say $1,000 for this piece of equipment or this piece of furniture, you better lock it in then, because there's a great chance by the time you come back, it's going to be increased. Yeah. People are not giving long-term quotes anymore. So the trades have already been impacted by it. Everything from a needle is impacted by this. But let me make it real. Going back to oil. If oil spikes, a grocery store, as we're seeing in Cayman, pays more for shipping. That cost, my friends, goes straight to mine and your bill. If airlines pay more for fuel, your ticket prices will go up. If construction materials cost more, your rent goes up. If your business pays more for electricity or transport, guess what? Remember the other day, the headlines? That those people, even though they didn't get permission from the Tax and Transport Board, They were raising, hey, we're seeing it at the pumps. $6 and almost $7 for diesel. Today I was past one Esso station. Yeah, I called it out. $6.84 for premium. $6.30 something cents for 5,000. Yeah, regular. And diesel now is almost $7. Mm-hmm. Ask me what that was even 3-4 months ago. I couldn't tell you, but now I'm paying attention. Yes. What I'm saying, my friends, is that oil touches everything. And you said, what if? There were a lot of what ifs coming here in your comments today, interestingly enough. What if more countries then leave OPEC? Yeah. Then, you know what happened? OPEC is a great chance they will collapse. And then you may ask, well, what if oil prices crash? Good for consumers, bad for oil producing countries. Yeah. And then what if oil spikes? Inflation rises everywhere. Another what if that keep up. What if the UAE becomes a price setter? Mm-hmm. Then there's a possibility the balance of power shifts to Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi. That is a reality. That could become a reality. In the grander scheme of this specific topic, let me declare. Harry says the Cayman Islands has become the Cayman Islands has become too developed for the region. Too developed for the region. I am joking, but in some ways it's true how much better the quality of life is compared to the wider region. Harry, let me tell you something. We got one of the highest standards of living in the world. In the world, but it's not free. We're not even going region, Harry. In the world. You're in the great United Kingdom and we living better than you all. Yeah, but it is not cheap. It comes with a price. But let me be real. Not all of us are living a bed of roses either, so don't get that mistaken. We got some serious people that are hurting here. We got a lot of our people that are also hurting in silence. And a lot of it is by design because of the sheer nature of our size. But yes, Harry, I cannot disagree with you there. But a lot of it is by design for certain people. And we got a lot of our people that are hurting. And unfortunate, it could get a lot worse before it gets better. And like every country, you will have those who have less. It is that no secret. But a lot of the blockades that are happening across small island development states, Cayman is not immune to that. A lot of it is by design as well. Bureaucracy, red tape, politics, bad mind. That's a fact. That is a fact. And we call it and we say it as it is. Aliano said, I saw some islands are using sargassum as seaweed as a fuel source. Yeah, there's been a number of countries that are trying to repurpose sargassum and to use it, wash it. I see, I stand to be corrected. I think over in the sister islands, Cayman Brac, they were using it to actually fill inland. Like they have it there, they pile it up, hoping for rains and that sort of stuff so it can drain. It's stinky though, oh God. And then they use it. Some people say it can be used as a fertilizer, but it has to be properly washed. But it can also be used to fill in your land. Mm-hmm. Yep, and there are so much other uses for it, Aliano. Harry says, when it has become a problem whenever those European or American standards are not met, yeah, when it has become a problem. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the biggest problems is most of the public think of it like this. I have had this my entire life. Why do you have to change it now? Because they don't think about the why. Yes, it's true. Some of us can't see beyond the tip of our own noses. And this is why we lack foresight. We lack in many, and this is some of the comments that I'm hearing as well, Harry, from a lot of our people saying, where's the visionaries? We no longer have visionaries. We only see selfishness. We only see greed. We only see my friend, my family, my persons who is in business with me. We don't look at the wider scene. It's become more self-serving, more selfish than the wider, as you've alluded to. Yes. Andrew says, what are our alternatives? Solar, electric, cars, windmills. Other countries have adopted to solar. Yes, these are, I'm quite sure, other suggestions. But again, everything now has to go through legislation, making sure it's done safely. Then you have to have the policies and the laws and the governance body, which is why OFREG now is going to be charged with possibly even granting, we saw where it's in the public's domain, of trade and business license for those who are operating gas stations, that sort of stuff, because they have all of the experts under OFREG. And the justification for is that trade and businesses were being granted by a trade and licensing board, and they didn't have the expertise normally represented on those boards. So they're saying now they're going to try to do it one-stop shop where certain industries that deals with certain things now that would fall under the umbrella of OFREG now, that the licenses now go through that. Again, that's still developing. Legislation needs to be changed and all that good stuff. So we'll keep you abreast of all of those things as well. Dane says, oil will always be in demand as long as there is buyers, just a matter of price. Correct. And some countries are going to always be dependent on it. And that's what's sad, because we're all living on God's green earth. And we're seeing where others are just struggling by design, by greed, by poor governance, by political or civil unrest. And then it kind of makes you wonder, why can't we just all live pretty much on this and share or commodities or trades? But then there's always the power hungry, the struggle, wanting to be those dominant leaders. So where does the future and what does it look like? What we see for sure, this is a definite, that the world is definitely changing. There is no questions about that. We're seeing electric cars are rising. They're not going to be perfect. You're seeing where these lithium batteries are just blowing up. You're seeing where even scooters and motorized wheelchairs are catching fire now in people's houses. How we even travel with these batteries and all that sort of stuff on our flights. They can't be in the overhead bin and all that sort of stuff. They can't be plugged in. All of that is changing. But as we modernize and embrace other forms, right? They're going to have to perfect some of these things that is now causing a lot of deaths, and in many cases, fires as well. Even our own firefighters here right now, when they respond to, let's say, a motor vehicle, they have to determine whether or not that's been involved in a motor vehicle accident, whether or not it's an electric car or not. It will amaze you the amount of charge that is in that electric car. And worse, if it catches a fire, regular water is not going to take it out. You literally have to let it burn out. This is training that our firemen and women, our first responders have to be aware of, because those vehicles have a charge all over them. So the rules of the game are changing with even how we respond to motor vehicle accidents, how these cars, these hybrids, these electric vehicles and stuff are even shipped, understanding our temperature, how they are properly disposed of is another problem. That is a bigger environmental problem that we're having here on this island. Yes. And I got a link Oops, let me just pause that here. There will be government addresses energy cost. I wonder if I can share my screen. How long is that? It's a 2-minute 28. Yeah. So government is going to, ooh, interesting. Thank you for sharing this with me. So yeah, but we see where the world is changing. We are seeing it, and we're seeing the demand, these electric cars and all of that stuff. Solar and wind is growing, maybe not here. We see it in a lot of our Caribbean brothers and sisters island, other small island development states. And you kind of wonder, well, how in the name of Jesus this island can get this so quickly and that so quickly? And when you go and you look at their transportation system sometimes, when you go and look at their electric vehicles that they have, on the surface, we're talking about, not the deep dive, the dynamics are different from one small island development state to the next, right? We see where hydrogen is definitely coming, not here, in general. Yes, in general. Countries are preparing for a future where oil is not king. And guess what? UAE knows this. And that, my friends, yes, that, my friends, is why they're possibly moving now. So it all makes sense at the end of the day. Yeah. No problem. Thank you. Yes, I'm just getting a message here and an incoming call. Good evening, call live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Hello, Sabrina. How are you? How are you? Well, I was going to say, how are your listeners, but they can't answer me. But I just let me just.
They'll answer you. You'll see the comments on there. You will see the comments, or my ear will be burning after the show.
Will start coming in. You know that. Oh, well, we want to answer you. Who are you to tell us we can't answer? We can.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Well,
go on your mind.
Very, very interesting topic. One of the things that when things like this happen to me, like the whole thing about the UAE, is I try to think of what is happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have no evidence of this at all, but I know how these things work. Mm-hmm. The chances are that, and in a sense, it doesn't matter to Cayman, right? But it's just interesting to note that my gut feeling is that the United States are the ones who have told UAE, come on. If you pull out of OPEC, you can produce more oil, you can sell more oil, and you can also hopefully get a good price. Mm-hmm. You should not be beholden to Iran after all they've bombed you, you know. So why are you trying to be nice to that organization? So, and it is, I think, part of the broader strategy to weaken Iran, because you remember that Iran has been selling more oil now since the war began than even before that. And they have been making even more money because they've been able to sell oil to China and other places. And it has sort of like backfired a little bit, this whole thing about the war. So this is part of the broader plan to weaken, this is part of Trump's plan to weaken Iran. Just like in the Caribbean, a lot of countries which were cooperating with Cuba, suddenly they've withdrawn the doctors and reducing cooperation. And that is because, again, the United States has told them, hey, look, we want to squeeze Cuba. So that's one thing that we need to understand. It is part of the big geopolitics. I am not even, in a sense, I'm not even criticizing it, because I'm just acknowledging that this is the way it is. All countries try to look after themselves. Sometimes they do it behind the scenes, sometimes they don't. Now, about the fossil fuels, this is always very, very interesting. You know, I always speak to people sometimes, different views. Some people say,
Mr. Balika,
sorry.
I'm going to, we got 45 minutes. You heard me, 45 minutes. We got 15 minutes. And I have just been shared some very important information that I feel it is valid that I share with the public, because I am proud to announce here today that government announces 3-phase plan to lower energy costs and support families. So you have 2 choices. I'm going to read it as is, because it just came into me. You can stay on, and then let's see where you are. It's your choice, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Breaking here, I want to just do a summary for you, okay, on this platform. The NCF government has unveiled a 3-phase plan to tackle soaring energy costs this summer and reduce Cayman's long-term dependency on fossil fuels. The program responds to global instability, especially conflict in the Middle East, which has pushed fuel prices sharply higher. Without intervention, residential electricity fuel charges were projected to jump from CI 0.14 kilowatts to as high as 0.24. I'm going to have to lower you one little bit here. Hold on, because there's some background noise. Okay, I'll pull you up in a minute.
Okay.
As a 0.24 kilowatt this July, more than 70% increase during what forecasters warn may be one of the hottest summers on record. Now, phase 1, immediate relief. That is between June to September of this year, 2026. Government will spend an estimated CI 9 million on short-term support. Fuel import duty on gasoline, diesel, and propane will be waived for 4 months. CUC and Island Energy will cap the residential electricity fuel charge at CI 0.18 kilowatts, automatically benefiting nearly 90% of households using 101 to 2,000 kilowatts monthly. A special pathway will assist large families and medically vulnerable residents. Now, average households could save up to $105 to $120 per month. Now, phase 2, which is medium term, and that is from 2027 to 2028, home energy efficiency. Government will relaunch and expand the Share Retrofit program, prioritizing spray foam roof installation and later supporting upgrades for more efficient air conditioning units and fans. The goal is to permanently reduce household energy consumption and lower bills regardless of global fuel prices. Phase 3, long-term, 2027 and beyond, transition to solar. To address Cayman's structural vulnerability, near total reliance on diesel generation, the government will accelerate solar energy development in line with the national energy policy. Expanding utility scale and residential solar aims to stabilize long-term costs, reduce exposure to oil prices, shocks, and support cleaner, more resilient power generation. Now, leadership positioning. Government ministers emphasize that the plan balances immediate relief with long-term reform, describing it as responsible, evidence-based, and focusing on protecting families, public health, and economic stability. Utility partners CUC and Island Energy express support, noting that solar generation offers significantly lower cost energy, and that the summer relief will help customers during the peak consumption month. Now, there is a phase 1 guide at a glance where, the fuel duty on gasoline, propane, then you got the fuel cost cap again versus, so there you have it. There is these phases that government is doing to try and help us. And we just got to give God thanks. Thank you for sharing that with us. And we will definitely be sharing more. There is also a video, but I'm having some problems uploading that. So we'll go back to our caller. What do you have to say on that, caller?
Well, it's interesting, actually. I was just going to move into that general area about fossil fuels, So I must congratulate the government for being able to do this. I think Kenneth Bryan was also talking about it today together with Roy Tatum on OC Show. It is a good thing to do. This is part of a broader debate, as you know, right? There are some people who are saying, well, why are you bothered about solar? Because fossil fuels will still be here in 100 years, in 200 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, but there are some people who say, look, the oil that we're using out of the ground now took thousands and thousands and thousands of years to develop. Mm-hmm. And we are consuming it at a rate that it is far quicker than than it took to develop it. Okay,
right.
like stuff which, for example, took 5 to 10,000 years, 20,000 years to develop, we are consuming it in 10, 15 years. So you can't keep assuming that more oil is going to be discovered. Now, if more is discovered, so much the better. But do you want to take that risk?
Right.
So I just think that it is good that government is promoting solar, as well as trying to reduce the cost of things. But at the end of the day, this reminds Cayman that Cayman is still a country which, in a sense, is not a developed country. It's a country with a very high standard of living.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still say, "Oh, but you see, we are not a developing country. You are a developed country." No. I agree with Mr. Makiva Bush, who has been beating this drum to say, "Look, Cayman is a high standard of living. We can't run away from that. But is it a developed country? Until you've got a certain degree of economic independence, you can manufacture things, you can do innovation in a number of areas. You can't say you are a developed country, because something could happen which is really big and everything could go down. Now, I think that's unlikely to happen anytime soon. But let me remind people of one thing. You remember, I don't know, this was about 2015 or thereabouts, 2014, when the UK said, we want all the registers to be open now. This, what was the official term for it? Public register.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was a panic. I remember the radio talk show saying, "Oh, what is going to happen now? Our financial services industry is going to go down." And that was very appropriate as a fear. But it is very important to remember that at that time, they exempted the crown dependencies, the ones near the UK, Jersey and those. They exempted them from that, but they said they wanted to apply it to the Cayman Islands. Do you see?
Right.
And I thought that I should mention this because there was somebody sending a message to say, "Well, but if anything went wrong, the UK would come in to help us." Now, that's only true to a certain extent, because it's only true to a certain extent because they've already shown us that they are ready to help the crown dependencies or exempt them from certain measures which are capable of damaging the economy in the Cayman Islands. But at the end of the day, I mean, look, if it was a bigger country, Cayman, I would have said, concentrate on diversifying the economy.
Yeah.
But even if I were to say that, it's very... because at the end of the day, what are the options really for Cayman? You think that even if agriculture was to develop to a very high rate, you think that would replace the financial services? It can't be. But it just helps people to understand that if there are any alternatives, even small things, it is good to develop them. Before I close, there is when I was growing up, I grew up in Africa. And we were told there point blank, you got political independence, but until you've got economic independence, your independence is totally meaningless.
Correct.
And Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of a black African country south of the Sahara, the first to get independence, he wrote a book called Africa Must Unite and a book called Neocolonialism to say, let us all unite and increase our bargaining power in relation to the rest of the world. You know what happened to him? He was overthrown within a few months.
Oh, crap.
But those are some of the reality.
The landscape and the environment wasn't as, I would say, as unstable and unpredictable as it is. So maybe it's a new era, different heads at the wheel. Let's see. Because Africa is uniting right now from what I'm seeing. And just looking at some stuff from that side.
I think,
yeah.
And I think you've touched a little bit on that, because whereas with all this thing that Trump is doing and really antagonizing even friends, as a result, the people have seen something, a silver lining in this. There
are other opportunities.
There are other opportunities. And we are going to see what's going to happen. But anyway, I just thought let me chime in on this heavy topic.
Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
Take care.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There is a let me see if I can share my screen here with you guys. Hey, Live Happy, how you doing? Let me see if I can do a share screen here, because there's a video God be with me now. Here we go. We could try this. We could try this today. Let's go. Share it. Let's play.
We acknowledge MP McTaggart's motion. We know this has been on the government's mind and also has been on the opposition's mind. I even spoke to MP McTaggart last night and thanked him for his motion, but we knew we had to go further. I'm pleased to confirm that we are going to act before the summer bills arrive, not after. This is not simply a crisis response. It is the first step in a long-term plan to make Cayman's energy system more efficient, more resilient, and more affordable for every household. We are dealing not just with symptoms, but with the root causes.
The NCFC government has put together an approximately $9 million relief package that will benefit households in multiple ways. A direct subsidy to lower electricity bills, help at the pumps, and with propane for cooking. The fuel charge cap of 18 cents per kilowatt hour is grounded in a decade of historical data. By delivering automatic relief to 90% of residential electricity customers, we avoid the delays of individual applications and return money to people's pockets quickly. That is fiscal responsibility in practice. Spending where it matters, with evidence to back every decision.
Our summers are getting hotter, and the threat of heat-related illness is growing. Forecasters are warning that this will be one of the hottest summers in years, while global fuel prices are spiking. This will impact our elderly residents, young children, those with chronic health conditions, and the most vulnerable in our community. This program helps families keep their homes cool without being forced to make difficult choices. Protecting people's health and protecting their pockets go hand in hand.
There we go. Hey. Oops. Oh, God. There we go. What a mess I'm in here now. There we go. We got to shut it up now. We got to shut it up. Hope I stopped my sharing. Let me bring myself. Ooh. There we go. I hope I'm not hearing anything in the background. There we go. I shared my screen. I did it. Thank you all. Now, let me tell you something. Let's give our government a round of applause here. I'm sorry. We got to do it. And as we do it here on the CMR platform, you asked, they've delivered, they have answered. And yes, this will be in circulation. This is breaking. It's just made the news waves. And let's see. So we can only say thank you for hearing our cries. Thank you for making a step. Thank you for realizing what our people are feeling and will be experiencing, and for all of the questions, the what ifs. I hope that this have answered your questions. And so fitting this evening, giving the topic at hand. And I'm hoping that it all made sense. But here we are. We're not asleep at the wheels. They are seeing it. They are seeing it. They are seeing it. They're hearing you, and they're making the step. Again, these are some of the vulnerabilities of us being a small island development state. And even though we're not an independent jurisdiction, you cannot say right now that that it is not being, you're not being listened to. I must say though, unanimously and even agitated forcefully by the opposition, they came out with smoking guns. We have to thank every elected member. And this is one thing where we see unanimous uniting, where when we all work together, yes, where we can all work together as one, because every constituency will feel this. And at the end of the day, Why not? Why not? But tonight we talked we talked about global headlines. Thank you, Tartarian. Thank you, Miss Melita. Thank you so much. I got it. Oh, my heart went remote. I thought it was a hot flash, but it wasn't. I was nervous that I was sharing the wrong screen. Oh my God, this is so funny. It's so funny. Miss Melita, she not lying, you know. I'm already come home wet from sweat. Thank you, Tartarian. But yeah, as I get comfortable in this space and things come in real time, I do my best to bring it here. But I'm so glad I did that in real time and that you guys were seeing it. Thank you for your support. Honestly, I'm really happy that that worked out well so that we could bring this home to you, because that's what Sabrina Speaks is really all about. This platform is really about exactly how it's all tying in, understanding the world so we can navigate it with confidence. You're seeing when our leaders are listening, whether it was agitated by the opposition, that's what they're there for. But at the end of the day, everyone is there elected to represent the whole, the people. And what we're seeing from the global context of things is that the UAE's leaving OPEC is more than political move. It's a sign that the world is shifting, energy is shifting, alliances are shifting, and the global economy is entering a new chapter. And whether you're a business owner or a parent or a young person just trying to make it, or someone just trying to understand why life feels so expensive right now, these global decisions shapes our reality. So I encourage you to stay informed. Do not put your head in the sand. Do not make politics overshadow the realities of what's happening, our vulnerabilities. Do not make foolishness, ego overshadow exactly that we're all living in this space together. Whether you're part of CARICOM, whether you're a BOTC, whether you're independent, we are all one at the end of the day. Lisa Brightly, to God be the glory. This is great news. Sabrina, God bless our government, and to all the other members of Parliament. Connie is saying, thanks to you, Auntie Sabrina Speaks, a kinder, gentler world. Chevy, Danny, Mr. Belika, especially you, Auntie, for leading the bus for space for our voice. Oh, Connie. And I must say, kudos to all of the agitators, even in the opposition. Kudos to them. And they say, Kenneth got big mouth. It is what it is. Sometimes we don't understanding him. But this is where you're seeing a collective good for the greater good. So we'll keep our eyes locked on the debate. Yeah. And I'll do a recap of what happened today. I'm in overtime. I'm probably stepping into somebody else's time. Thank you for joining me on for this episode of Sabrina Speaks. More when we come back. I'll talk about that. Just give you a synopsis, whether or not that bill is going to be removed or not, but to let you know what got the wheels going on that, in case it was something that you overlooked and didn't know. I'll just do a short synopsis. So bear in mind, it was Mr. Roy McTaggart that brought the motion. It was seconded by MP Kenneth Bryan from Georgetown Central. So congratulations for everybody. This is one time that we have to say, Cayman Islands, we did it. We did it. So all of us have to thank you for all of those who both sides listen. That's the key takeaway here. It has been a pleasure bringing you this episode. Love you all a lot. God bless. Be safe on the roads. See you tomorrow for another exciting episode of Sabrina Speaks.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.